The Federal Ministry of Water Resources has a very robust mandate to develop and implement policies, projects and programs that will enable sustainable access to safe and sufficient water to meet the social, cultural, environmental and economic development needs of all Nigerians. The ministry has developed operational activities to deliver on its mandate centered on 6 technical departments, 7 service departments, 9 service units, 3 agencies and 12 river basin development authorities. The overall water sector development is being guided by 3 pillars, namely National Water Resources Master Plan, immediate and long-term strategies for the water sector 2016 to 2030, which is also known as the Water Sector Roadmap, Sustainable Development Goals, Goal 6. The focus of this documentary is Irrigation and Drainage Department, one of the technical departments. This department is tasked with the responsibility of ensuring strategic development and management of irrigation and drainage, as well as effective and sustainable irrigation policies of the federal government. The Britannical Dictionary explains the concept of irrigation and drainage to mean artificial application of water to land and artificial removal of excess water from land respectively. Some land requires irrigation or drainage before it is possible to be used for any agricultural production. Other land profits from either practice or increased production. Engineer Mrs. Esther Oluniyi, the Director of the Department of Irrigation and Drainage, Federal Ministry of Water Resources, expatiates.
Irrigation is the application of water to the root zone of crops. I remember many years ago, I was able to see the watering can. So if you have ever used watering can to water your flower, to water your vegetables, then you have practiced irrigation at a low scale. But the water application has to be to the root zone because the root requires the water to take the water and grow. So irrigation is the application of water, to the root zone for the growth of plants or food crops. And therefore, irrigation that we do in the country, we have different methods. We have surface irrigation, we have drip irrigation, we have pressurized system of sprinklers, and even a center pivot system. All these methods of irrigation are being used in the country. And as I said earlier, irrigated agriculture enables cultivation of crops more than one time or one season in a year. Because after the rainy season, with the supply of water to the crops will get water when it is not even rainy season. And somebody, may be thinking irrigation is restricted to the north. No. Irrigation cuts across all the parts of the country, even where the rainfall is high.
Nigeria boasts of over 250 billion cubic meters of water, comprising of surface and groundwater sources. Irrigation annual water demand is about 1,926 billion cubic meters, comprising of irrigation in wet and dry seasons, as well as Fadama lands. The country has an estimated 47.9 million hectares of potential rain-fed land and 314 million hectares of potential irrigable area. Approximately 1.8 million hectares of the irrigable area lie within the Niger-Benue valleys, while area currently developed for irrigation nationwide is approximately 150 hectares. Approximately 1.8 million hectares of the irrigable area lie within the Niger-Benue valleys, while area currently developed for irrigation nationwide is approximately 150,000 hectares. Creating a more efficient water management approach has the potential to substantially increase agricultural production, incomes and employment opportunities. At the apex of all irrigation matters in Nigeria is the Federal Ministry of Water Resources, which was created in 1975 as a response to the severe drought which affected much of sub-Saharan Africa from 1972 to 1974. Thereafter, the federal government has channeled massive resources into irrigation development in Third National Development Plan 1975 to 1980. To support the present administration's drive towards diversifying the economy, attain national food security and job creation, a 15-year National Irrigation Development Program was initiated in 2016 by the Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman Adamu. At inception of this administration, the federal government accorded the water sector, particularly irrigation subsector, a priority status in the socio-economic developments of the country, in meeting the cardinal program of government in areas of poverty reduction, integrated rural development, employment generation, good environmental management and food security. Consequently, a technical audit was conducted in which projects were categorized into high, medium and low priorities. The roadmap prioritized several ongoing and planned irrigation projects to achieve 500,000 hectares of irrigation infrastructure by year 2030, and this will go a long way to impact on the food security agenda of the Buhari administration, thereby significantly contributing to lifting Nigerians out of poverty.
In an attempt to key into this program, our able leader, Engineer Suleiman Adamu, fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers, fellow Academy of Engineering, the Galadiman of Kazaure, and the district head of Eroni, has been able to give directive regarding technical audit of all water projects under the ministry some years ago. And based on the technical audit, we have been able to categorize the various projects that need to be completed. All the projects, including irrigation projects, were assessed and audited, and the ones that are having high priority and medium priority, we focused on them, whereby we have tried to rehabilitate many that were virtually not completed and have been lingering, not really being cultivated over the years. And the major reasons why they are not being cultivated range from energy consideration and then operation and maintenance. Regarding energy consideration, some of them that were designed many years ago, they were designed, especially those that are to be pump schemes, they were designed to be using diesel. And when they were designed, diesel was not expensive. It was affordable. It was easy for farmers to also buy diesel and run. But with time, diesel became expensive, and the farmers could not afford to run the projects using diesel anymore. So what we did, based on the technical audit, we were able to bring life back to most of them. And as I speak with you, we have been able to add not less than 37,000 hectares more to what we had on ground before this present administration.
A total number of 38 irrigation and drainage projects were inherited from previous administration, and available resources were committed towards completing and commissioning some of the high and medium priority projects between 2017 and 2022. The National Irrigation and Drainage Policy approved by the Federal Executive Council in September 2016, along with the National Water Resources Bill and National Water Resources Policy. This policy seeks to provide an operational framework for irrigation and drainage development, as well as overall improvement in irrigated agriculture, which will consequently lead to improved agricultural production. The main thrust of the Irrigation and Drainage Policy document is attaining food and raw material security, creation of increased employment and increased private sector investor participation in irrigation development. Other objectives include wealth creation and poverty alleviation, increased contribution of irrigation sector to gross domestic product (GDP) and foreign exchange revenue. In this regard, the following achievements have been recorded. Completion of 7 numbers of irrigation schemes to bring actual area under irrigation in the country to 88,950 hectares. Leasing of 55,000 hectares of irrigation land to commercial farmers under a public-private partnership (PPP) arrangement to empower local farmers. Championing women empowerment through participation in irrigated agriculture in Bokwari and Adari in Borno and Sokoto states respectively. Completion of feasibility studies and designs of integrated irrigation development at Nasarawa covering 6,600 hectares and Donga Suntai covering 6,000 hectares. Implementation of Transforming Irrigation Management in Nigeria trimming project with support from the World Bank, of which the following irrigation projects are ongoing. Bakolori Irrigation Project 13,500 hectares, Kano River Irrigation Project 14,400 hectares, Hadejia Valley Irrigation Project 6,000 hectares, Dakin Kowa Irrigation Project 2,000 hectares. Implementation of additional 43 irrigation projects at various stages of completion across the country, including developments of Middle Rima Irrigation Project 5,000 hectares and Gari Irrigation Project 2,000 hectares, Adani Irrigation Scheme. Honorable Minister speaks as he carries out sectoral handover of Sector 7 of Kano River Irrigation Infrastructure to the end users.
It was initiated by the Defunct Petroleum Special Trust Fund in 1997. The scope of the project was to develop 2,114 hectares of irrigation farmland in Kano and Shira states. The contract for the project was awarded in September 1998 to Mr. CDC Nigeria Limited by the Defunct PTF. As of November 2000, the project had attained 50% completion. This was the main color. By following the resolution of the PTF, the project was transferred to the Federal Ministry of Water Resources in the year 2000 for implementation. However, due to lack of funding, the project was abandoned for nearly 20 years. As a result, the irrigation and drainage infrastructure, which were accomplished under the defunct PTF, deteriorated over time. When I assumed office in 2015, I instituted a technical audit of all the ministry's engineering projects in May 2016. Arising from successful completion of the audit, we resolved to complete all viable water resources projects across the country, in line with the policy direction of the Buhari administration. The Gari irrigation project ranked among the top priority projects of the ministry.
It will be recalled that in May 2018, President Muhammadu Buhari flagged off the 9 billion naira Hadejia Valley Irrigation Scheme in Jigawa State. This is an important project under the food security and employment component of the Buhari administration. The scheme is expected to guarantee all year-round farming, which would boost food production and curb youth restiveness in the region. The scheme is part of the Trimming Rehabilitation Program and also designed to strengthen Water Users Association by engaging over 20,000 farmers who would assume the responsibility for the operation and maintenance of the irrigation system after the rehabilitation works. This will consequently lead to significant increase in average household income among farmers in the area. Plus, the project consists of a barrage with storage capacity of 11.4 million cubic meters of water, while its plus potential irrigable area is 25,000 hectares. It is a gravity irrigation system with north and south main canal. The Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman Hussein Adamu, at the official commissioning of the Gari irrigation project, speaks further.
The project is divided into 8 sectors. The sectoral approach was adopted in executing the present contract in order to avoid a repeat of what happened in the past when it was first transferred to the ministry. In this arrangement, the sector is completed and immediately handed over to the farmers to cultivate. Already sectors 1 and 2, totaling 416 hectares have been completed and reallocated to 1,922 benefiting farmers. Today, with the takeover of sector 4, another 289 hectares with about 1,472 benefiting farmers have been added to the project, contributing to the commitment of Mr. President's vision towards diversifying the nation's economy and creating significant welfare improvement for our citizens by empowering and bringing 100 million Nigerians out of poverty within 10 years. I therefore charge the farmers to be diligent and protect this project from unguided abstraction of water and physical damage to the irrigation infrastructure. Your Excellency, Your Highness, it is worth mentioning the Hydrogen Valley Irrigation Scheme is another project being executed in Jigawa State by the Federal Ministry of Water Resources. The project is being implemented under the Transforming Irrigation Management Nigeria Trimming project with the assistance of the World Bank and has recorded significant progress. Very much like our irrigation project, Hydrogen Valley Irrigation Project has an even longer history, having been commenced some 40 years ago in the early 80s. So far, about 3,056 hectares of land from 12 sectors have been completed and handed over to the beneficiary farmers. Another 2,400 hectares comprising 5 sectors are in advanced stage, ready for handing over very soon.
The Executive Governor of Jigawa State, Alhaji Badaru, also spoke on the usefulness of the irrigation project as he advises the youths to take advantage of this golden opportunity to improve on their lives.
Ya ce hekta 2,000 da ɗan wani abu a nan, hekta 6,000 a yankin Hadeja, in ka haɗa hekta 2,000 nan 8. Mu ɗauki misali na shinkafa za a yi ta sau 3 a shekara. Za ka yi talaba da tan 5 zuwa 7, mu ɗauki 6. Idan ka haɗa ka buga abar, za ka ga cewa duk lokacin da aka yi noma ɗaya za a samu tan 50,000. Noma ba shekara, tan 50,000 za a samu na shinkafa. Muna godiya kwanan da wannan gagarumin aikin da ake mana. Kuma daɗin daɗawa wanda suke yin noma yanzu ba a wayannan wurare na hekta 8,000 ba ruwansu da siyan watafon, ba ruwansu da sabisinsa, ba ruwansu da bakin mansa, ba ruwansu da fetur dinsa. Saboda haka bayan wannan tan 150, tan 150 zai zo kuma mai sauki kuma mai arha, saboda manomi bai kashe kuɗi a famfo ba, bai kashe kuɗin mai ba ko bai kashe kuɗin bakin mai ba balle a ce
The Director of Irrigation and Drainage Department of Federal Ministry of Water Resources also explains how the different irrigation schemes in the different parts of the country is impacting lives.
As you are all aware, this project is going to enable farmers to cultivate many times in a year. Some cultivate 3 times and more in a year. That shows that we are ready to have significant contribution to the food security in this country, which is in agreement with Mr. President's agenda to bring out more than 100 million people out of poverty. I want to believe that the sites that we have gone around, is impressive, and the sectors 1 and 2 that have been handed over are already being cultivated by thousands of farmers, including this one to be handed over today.
The beneficiaries of the irrigation facilities are not left out in the testimonies on the transforming impact of the irrigation infrastructure established by the federal government under the auspices of the Federal Ministry of Water Resources, as they now speak.
Before now, I had to buy pump, I had to pump water, I had to buy diesel and everything. But now with this water coming to my farm, I can assure you I can have 5 times my resources I can put to use 5 hectares instead of 1 hectare.
Wannan abin da ake mana ya ba a ɗauko injin buga kuɗi a ajiye mana, domin wannan injin buga kuɗi ne na gaggawa. Yanzu nan da ake magana na Allah kaɗai musan mutanen da suka sha abinci suka sa aka yi aiki aka biya su suka je suka ci da iyalansu kafin ma a zo a fara yin dashen shinkafa da shauran abubuwan da za a amfana a wannan gwamnati ta yi duk abin da za ta yi mana ta yi. Abin da ya rage yanzu shine mu rike mu wa gwamnati addu'a. Mutum ko yana so ko baya so ba zai ce wannan abin ba alheri bane ba. Mutum ko yana APC ko baya APC dole Buhari ya taimaka wa waɗannan gwamnatoci guda 3 da kuma wannan lokacin gaban wajen guda 9. Da haka dole ne mutum ko baya kaunar Allah dole ne ya yi addu'a, domin abu ne wanda kowa ya san anan motoci za a ɗauka babu iyaka a tafi kudu a je a yi aikin rani. Yau ga abu a gurinka a kofar gidanka ka yi aiki ka tafi ka je kwana a gidanka.
Har ga Allah da kusa a mace miki, amma yanzu sun zo sun tada mu daga bacci sun laya mu sun kawo mana sabuwar ima, musamman wannan gwamnati da muke kanta ta Buhari da wannan mutumin da yake da kishin jiharsa ministan ruwa, wanda ko da lokaci ko cikin bacci in ya farka tunaninsa wannan aiki da yake yankin namu na jihar Jigawa na haɗe River Basin shine a ransa. Muna godiya ga Allah, muna godiya ga gwamnatin Buhari, muna godiya da wannan ministan ruwa abinda suka yi mana, ba mu da damar saka musu sai dai mu addu'a Allah ya saka musu da mafificin wannan su da zuriya suka yi.
Wannan aiki na gwamnatin tarayya ta mu da tare da Tarimin, alhamdulillah tsakaninmu da gwamnati sai godiya ta mana abubuwan nan. Dan da ina noma buhuna a nan gun sun kai 500, amma ko a bana mun noma buhuna a wajen 2,300. A banan nan 2,300. Mun gode wannan gwamnatin tarayya, Allah ya mata albarka, Allah ya sa a yi lafiya a gama lafiya da Tirimin, wannan da minista Suleiman Adamu, Allah ya wa iyayensa albarka da kakannin iyayensu, Allah ya ji Allah ya gafarta musu. Wannan ayyuka da ake na kwana ayama zuwa tawa a maɗa 'yan kwangila